plan is that we are going to take this car out and actually put it up on the lift, because right now it doesn't start and I need to work on the injectors on this. Alright guys, after further deliberation, based on what I've gathered online, they're saying that don't even have to remove any of this. Apparently there's enough room to get the clips out on the connector, get the actual clip that's holding the injector first, and then free the rail. And then you should be able to just pull the injector out with a plier, long nose plier. So let me see what I can do here. I'm gonna try that, give that a try. Worst case scenario, then I might just do the valve cover out, and then we'll go from there. I just want to recap everything with you guys. So basically here I have taken the cold air intake. Right now I have an aftermarket, well, custom, because I have actually built this myself with a aftermarket filter. So I've taken that out, and given that I was initially thinking about removing the whole intake plenum, I've already undone the throttle body. I'm actually glad that I did, because you see how filthy this baby is. I'm just gonna do some cleaning as well on the throttle body to get all that cleaned up. I've already undid the cover because I don't want to have the cover all messed up. The cover is right there right now, sitting here, and as you can see, it's powder coated, and I don't want to mess it up because it's nice and shiny. So anyways guys, I am just going to try and see if I can undo all the clips that's holding the electrical power on each injector, and at the same time all the clips that's holding the injector into the rail, and then we'll start to pull everything up one at a time. The other thing that I want to mention too is by removing the intake and also the throttle body here, I can now easily get my access to the bolt in the back that's holding the fuel line, the hard fuel line, so we can have a bit of a bend or wiggle room to work with, because in the bottom of that hard aluminum piping is just a rubber one, so it will give me some give to be able to pull the rails out. Hopefully that I don't have to take that bolt out that's holding the feed line. I also did this off, so that way again there was just no room there to put the hands and be able to see through. So by me removing all this wiring here, which is easy enough to put back, gives me a lot of access in the back there. So anyways guys, stay tuned. I will be removing all the pins of on each one of those electrical connections, and then I'll be able to pull every single one of them and work my way down there. So stay tuned. Hey guys, given that this is my first time doing this, I managed to actually remove the pin of the electrical connection here on cylinder 3. I have already removed it. Let me just put this aside and see, as you guys can see, I can now pull this baby up. So easy enough. So I want to show you guys the removal process that I'm using. I'm basically using these two tools here. If you guys can see, there's angles of them, which really helps in this case. So what I do is, as you're pulling it out, you're also lifting it up in the process. So there you go guys, as you can see there, it's just, now it's all off. Try to do the other side as well. There you go, fairly easy. You pull the whole thing out, and take that pin out, and that the whole thing will just come off, just like the way I have this one here. One thing to note guys, I actually put this pin back now, and I didn't secure it all the way in. You don't really have to take the whole thing out completely. You just have to you know, to open it up as much as you can, and then you can then pull it up. It just comes up by itself there once that at least this little pins are already been pulled out. So, and then you can put it back in so that way you don't lose it, just to prevent it from getting lost there in the process. So I'm gonna get the rest of them, and then we'll go from there. Just want to show you how you can remove that locking pin on the injectors, locking pin to the rail. So basically you need a long nose plier like this, preferably the curved one, so that way you then fits nicely here where you don't have to work this way, you're kind of just working this way. So what you need is just be gentle on this because everything's aluminum here, guys. So what you do is just wiggle this thing, kind of tilt it on this side first to kind of help it out, because the lock basically releases this way. Just be gentle because you don't want to damage anything. And if it doesn't give, you just go on the back there and try to see if you can find the other side of the pin and just try to help it out. All right, folks, now that we got all the pins freed up now, basically, as you guys can see, they're all off now. They're all moving around. As you can see, they're just basically sliding back and forth here. So we got them all out now. So the next step would be is, before we crack those bolts open, that's holding on the rail, I want to basically remove the two bolts that's holding our hard line here. There's this hard line and there's this brace that's being held here somewhere in the back. It's hard to see, guys, but there's two bolts back there that I have to remove to be able to have this freed up a little bit, so we have a bit of a flexibility there, because we got a rubber hose that's connecting to this hard line here on the bottom. So we should be able to have a bit of a wiggle room to get the injectors pulled out and then replaced. All right, guys, time to remove our brace here. Basically, it's just two bolts right here, one down here and one up here. So it's a little tricky to possibly get this thing off, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, guys, so bracket bolt in the back has been removed, and now we just have to get this bolts out. They weren't really on super tight there, just enough to hold the rails up. So let's see if we can wiggle this thing out. At this period in time, you can clearly tell that I'm having trouble trying to clear the top of the fuel rail. I've been struggling basically here, guys, as you can see. Well, as you guys suggested, I managed to get the wiring off, the clips off on every single one of these guys, but it doesn't budge. So the highest I can go is very little. There's no way in hell this will go up to be able to free up the injectors. So I don't know what you guys meant by being able to do this without removing the plenum and either the valve cover here. Even if I did remove the valve cover, yanking the actual complete configuration, is still, there's no room, because there's barely no room here, guys, to move everything. So anyways,
a lot of boring math later.
Okay, guys, we have loosened up our intake plenum. It's now off basically here. It's ready to be removed. All the bolts that's basically holding the plenum is just those different sizes of bolts, including the braces there. The last three bolts are just braces, one from the back and one on the two here that's holding this accelerator cable. So basically there's one there, There's one over here, one in the middle here, another one over there, and one at the end towards the bottom there. And once you got that loosened up, slowly pry it out, and it'll just come off. So anyways, we're about to take it off here so we can start replacing the fuel injector. Right, the plenum is off, guys. Basically here, I just covered it up with a plastic for now, so I could, work here without worrying about dropping anything there. So now, time to get our rail off and our injectors off, and we could put in the new one. Guys, there's two ways we can do this. We can pull the whole rail out, including the injector itself, or we could just unhook our pins out. As you guys can see, each one of those pins, again, I put them back in because again, it's a process of me trying to pull it out there, but I'll take those off again and loosen them up, and then at least free up the rail so I could just pull the injectors one by one, I guess, in the process. Maybe that's how I'm gonna do it here. Just want to show you guys what we have back here. As you guys can see, there's the injector port. The holes there, they're looking okay. I did vacuum any little dust or anything there before, after taking out the injector, just make sure nothing falls off there in the process. But anyways, guys, it's a little filthy, but I'm gonna try and see if I can clean the holes a little bit with Q-tips with alcohol in it, and just so that way we can get as much dirt as possible in there before putting the new injector in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's the injectors now. These are the old one, cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4. As you guys can see, it's fairly old. Look at this, it's worn out pretty bad. As you can see, guys, that's where a lot of our leaking is coming from. This is the problematic one here that's been kind of leaking all the way. Filled up the cylinder there. So I'm gonna get this thing cleaned up, get it refurbished, and hopefully we can reuse it again. These are the original ones. So here are the replacement. Number 3, and that's number 4. Yeah, they're fairly similar looking. Connections are the same pretty much, and just to compare the two, guys, as you can see here, they're fairly identical. So yeah, we're gonna install it, and hopefully we can get the car driving soon. So guys, pretty much here all we're gonna do is we'll be applying a dielectric grease on the O-rings, and we will then install them one by one. One thing I wanted to mention, guys, is that I have a fuel filter that's been sitting here for a while. Might as well replace my fuel filter there, because I'm not sure how old that is and how crusty it is, so might as well replace it while we have everything here opened up and race the car, and then get to that filter there. Injectors are all in place. As you guys can see, I have clipped in the power already, and everything is secured. The bolt is back on. I haven't really actually torqued it up yet, but we'll look up the torque spec on that regard. I'm going to be cleaning the throttle body, and then we will be working on our gasket here. Most likely we'll replace the gasket, and also the gasket for the throttle body, and then we're back on track. Anyways, guys, just want to show you the Plenum itself, how it looks like. It usually goes this way. It looks beautiful. It would be nice if it's kind of shiny and powder coated, I guess, in that sense. Yeah, I know, looking nice. So it's pretty clean on this surface. I just gotta clean it up a little bit more and put the new gasket in. So anyways, guys, we're getting closer here. All right, time to clean this throttle body, guys. 1, 2, 3. Here's a bit of an improvement, guys. As you guys can see here, I cleaned the Plenum intake manifold here. I have sprayed the intake manifold spray and got all the, as much as I can anyways, all the carbon that was inside. That was really filthy, guys, so bad. So I already scraped out the gasket residues here, and I've yet to remove the one over here as well. I do have all the gaskets from Philpro, is that what it's called? All these sets of gasket for this car here, including everything that you need. Yeah, it's actually worse than I thought. The actual intake manifold there was full of gasoline. It was like right at the top there. I had to suck everything out there, pump it up to get it out, but there's still some in there. I need to truly drain it all out before we start the car up. So there's a bit of cleaning there that I need to do. I still have to remove the gasket. The gaskets are still stuck there, baked pretty good. So update, guys, finally got the gasket out. As you guys can see, scraped it up with a small blade, and here it is. It's really baked in there. So I took my time and scraped it as much as I can without breaking it, and all the excess stuff I have to scrape up a bit more here and clean up, and soon we will install our Plenum, that it's almost ready to go. Here we go, guys. As you guys can see, it's all cleaned up nicely now. I have pretty much scraped up the surface there to get all that excess gaskets. As you notice, I have blocked each port with a towel there, or paper towels, that way no big things fall off there while I'm scraping it. And I'm also vacuuming as I go. I have a vacuum here, and I vacuum it every time to make sure that nothing will fall through. Well, guys, I'm just taping as I go here, but as you guys can see, it's way cleaner now. I have sprayed it with gunk. It's a throttle body air intake sprayer here. I was able to spray it and wipe as much as I can, and then re-vacuum again just to make sure any of that debris that fall in there gets all sucked out. And at the same time, the face of the intake manifold, wiped it with the fluid as well, and clean the surface as nice as possible. So we're set to go here. We're going to be putting in the new gasket soon.
The following day.
Well, guys, time to get our work done here. We got our brand new Plenum. Brand new it is because I cleaned it up nicely, including the inside and everything, as well as our nice and cleaned intake manifold. For sure, as you guys can see, it's cleaned up nicely there. Our gaskets, sets of gaskets are here. This is what we need, which is similar to the one we have over there. That's the one that we just replaced. And our throttle body here as well. I'm thinking I might just use whatever it's there right now because it looks pretty okay still. As you guys can see, I'm gonna risk it and use that one for now, because I could easily replace it anyways. If there's an issue with the throttle body, then I could just replace it. But I actually pulled it out pretty nicely, and it seems like it's fairly intact there. So as you guys can see, the throttle body is nicely cleaned now. I haven't done the other side yet because it's kind of teetered right now. But anyways, we're gonna do that now. I'm gonna do a time lapse on this whole thing because there's a lot of things to go still. I have to put all the wires and the fuel lines in the whole 9 yards. Injectors are all in place already. I wanted to mention as well, guys, that I didn't do the draining of the coolant at all as they have recommended to do. The reason why I didn't do that is because the fact that I didn't really undo any of the coolant lines, the throttle body point of view. So anyways, guys, we'll do a time lapse and get this thing done so we can get the car running soon. Time to put our fuel pump relay, guys, so we can get this car started soon here. Back in place. Time to place our air intake. Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost done here. As you guys can see, I have the air intake in place already. Everything is back on track. The battery post has been also installed. The relay is all installed in the fuse box. And yeah, we're about to try the car out, start it up and see how it goes and see how those new injectors are doing. And then but before I do so, actually I wanted to do an oil change in this car, given that we have a gasoline leak going on inside the cylinder. I just don't want to risk the idea that there is a mixture of gasoline into the oil itself. So I'm going to drain it and change the oil, and then we'll fire it up. Well, it's really bad, guys. It's pretty much full of gasoline. as I have suspected. As you guys can see, it's pretty much mixed up with the oil, and it's so thin now. Obviously, luckily we didn't just crank the car up without changing the oil, that's for sure. That's horrible. Anyways, guys, yeah, that is brutal.
15 minutes later.
Off to Canadian Tire, guys. All right. So we got the cheapest oil we can have just to flush the system, and it was on sale for $27, so it's perfect. Right, time to start the car. For the first time, spraying the gas line a little bit there, put some pressure, and then we'll see if there's anything leaking. Started just fine. But guys, we'll just do a final check on the underneath here and also in the engine compartment later. And I have placed the cheap oil for now. It's a cheap synthetic oil for a really cheap price, so we could actually just you flush the whole thing basically here. So as you can see, no leaks, looking good here. Yeah, looking good, guys. I'm not seeing any issue here at all. Not seeing any leak, obviously, here. So look upstairs and making sure that there's no fuel leak, that is. It's looking like from the top here now, guys. As you can see, it's looking really clean. As you guys can see it, I have been polished pretty much. The rail there, as you can see, it's a lot more shinier than before. The plenum is a lot cleaner. Intake manifold and the throttle body has been cleaned up nicely. Yeah, looking good. I don't see any leaking going on our externally here for the injectors. I don't smell any gasoline or whatsoever. So we're looking good here. We're gonna try and get the car out and drive it and see how she does outside. I haven't driven this car for about a year, so. Well, ladies and gentlemen, time to wrap this video up. Well, it's been a long day, few days that is, fixing this car. At least we learned something on how to truly replace the fuel injector, because as again, there is no contents out there about this car. So fairly happy. I took the car out for a ride. It's not perfect, but at least starting now, and hopefully the fuel injector finally works for me here, and hopefully there's no major issues with those brand new this guys on a quad enjoying their time. Anyways, guys, without further ado, we will be enjoying the Asuna Sunfire from here, and we'll see. Hopefully there's no more issues with it. Yeah, working on the fuel injector is not so bad. Just trying to figure out how to do it, basically. So anyways, guys, no need to drain all the coolants. You truly need to take the plenum out. That's the easiest way. There's no way. The valve cover is probably not even related technically here, given that even with the valve cover off, you won't be able to lift that whole rail out anyways in the injectors. So anyways, guys, the proper way to do it is just get the plenum out, and everything is just easy from there. Anyways, guys, peace out.